Hey, welcome back. Or if you're new, my name is Delian. Welcome to the channel where we become the main character of our own lives by integrating a bunch of things that I found incredibly helpful over the years. And one of those things is astrology. I think that astrology showcases what our energy blueprint is and therefore gives us a lot of insight about how we can navigate our own lives in a way that has a lot of awareness, compassion for ourselves, and then therefore agency over where we want to go. And today is an extra video. It's a rainy day and I'm on my couch, puppy dog's right here, and all weekend long I could not stop thinking about how Leos and Aries are the most misrepresented signs in all of astrology. And this was sparked even more by Charlize Theron was just interviewed, and I don't even know. I think it was by Elle, and her sign came up. They asked her what her sign was, and she said that she was a Leo, and she was like, "But I don't feel like a Leo. My rising sign's Virgo. I feel far more like that." She goes, "I just don't like. I actually don't like the spotlight. I'm pretty introverted, and yeah, like the Leo things don't resonate." And I was like, I know, because I'll start with Leos, but I'll also talk about Aries. Leos are here to be playful, creative, to express their creativity, to be able to say, look at what I made and look at how fun it, like there's a ability to just try things and put themselves out there because they want to experience this certain way of expressing their own sense of creativity, right? There's a real youthfulness to a Leo. So if you imagine Aries as being like the spark of life, the moment that you take a breath and it's like, whoa, here you are inhabiting this thing. And with that comes a certain kind of energy. And then imagine Taurus is like a baby in a crib, right? A baby who's like safe and swaddled and taken and put into like a nest, right? Taurus is very nesty vibes. And then you go to Gemini, and Gemini's like first day of school. I get to go to school. It's new. I'm learning information like for the first time. And also, this is why Gemini has a lot of like identity stuff, because this is the first time where like out there you might be a certain kind of personality, and back at home you get to be a different kind of personality, and you're also developing your identity, right? So fun. And then you go back to Cancer, and Cancer is like, you got your feelings hurt at school and you come back home and you want mom to hold you. You want mom to take care of, feeling like something about the world you didn't belong. And it's about being emotionally nurtured, right? And then you go to Leo and you're back at school, and it's the day where you get to like, it's art class, right? And you just get to play. Or it's like being on the playground, although I think it's far more art class than playground, because it's like being able to take something inside of your imagination and show it. And that is not about being center stage. That is not about wanting the spotlight. That is not saying, here I am, everybody look at me. However, on the outside looking in, if you have a lot of this expressive, creative, playful, youthful energy, and this is just how you naturally operate, people may associate certain behaviors that happen from that energy as somebody taking up the spotlight, as somebody not being afraid to put themselves out there. When really what's happening with Leo energy is that you're just playing, and you're just expressing, you're just having fun with all of the colors. And also, like, when you make something, don't you want people to see it? And it's also like being amazed about what other people are creating too. Like, and also Leo's got some of the energy of like your first crush, like having that love, that first moment of the spark of love and admiration and like connection with someone else, or being seen and having that spark, like attraction. And so this can get tagged with things like, this person just thinks that they're the center of the world. And it's like, no, probably Leos want you to do the same thing, right? They're not taking up space. And therefore a lot of other people feel like they're taking up space. That's some Leo type of energy. And I'm not saying that there aren't Leos that aren't the stereotypical kind of like showy or party kind of vibes, right? But I just don't, like, quite frankly, I think that would be more, I don't know, a blend of Taurus and Sagittarius or Pisces. Like, I just think that and even then, I don't know how many of the signs are actually like, look at me. Maybe Aquarius, but even though it's like, look at this fun, quirky thing, or look at my uniqueness, or things like that. And even so, a lot of Aquarians are doing that because they want everybody to do that, right? They think that that's how we connect. So that's my quick soapbox spiel about Leos being completely misunderstood, in my opinion. And then Aries. Again, Aries get pegged with being like, first of all, selfish, or that they are like feisty, fiery go-getters, and that they are stubborn. And I do think that they're stubborn, but it's not in a way that is always represented. So like, and a lot of people will say like Aries and Leos are extroverts. No, I think that they can have some extroverted energy, but that does not mean that they don't need to, like, that they aren't drained by that. So again, going back to that metaphor that I was sharing about the energies based on like lifetime or life chapters, Aries, imagine you take your first breath. You are here. You are inspired. You are like experience being in this physical thing, right? And with that comes curiosity. Like, think about when a baby is born, like they don't have like this concept of failing or falling, like, because they need this like lack of risk assessment in order to be able to crawl and grow and like kind of, and also they're in touch with their impulses. When they feel something, it's like right there. They're going to cry in order to get what they need. They're going to laugh when they think something is funny, right? There's this being really in touch with your senses. This is what Aries is actually about. Now, here's the thing. Does that sometimes come across as, being, I don't know, what are things that people say, like foolish or devil may care, or I don't know. There's so many things. And it's really more about living life, being connected to this sense of, wow, what am I experiencing right here in this moment? What am I experiencing in this moment? There can be, with that can come a lack of being concerned about possible failures or possible like issues that might arise. There is a resilience that happens with Aries. There can be, again, an impulsivity with an Aries sun. But also, like, look at your whole chart. Most people don't have Aries or their sun sign in the same sign and house, right? I've done a lot of readings. I'm one of the few people I can think of that has their sun sign in, oh no, I don't even have that. My sun sign is in Cancer and the third house. What am I talking about, right? Like, I'm a Cancer Gemini. Look at me talking, right? And most people, like, if you have an Aries sun, check out the house. If you have a 6th house of Virgo, your impulsivity and your way of moving through the world is going to be in a very Virgo way, which is not going to look like a stereotypical Leo or Aries, right? And so this is why, not like, even the videos that I'm putting out, like the surface level of like, okay, if you have this planet in this sign or house, like this is what that can mean. All of like, I love that kind of information. That's how I got into astrology, was people who put out information like that. And then from there, I was able to get more and more understanding of how everything worked. But this is why getting a reading is so helpful, because there's so much nuance that does go into what's happening in your chart, which is so exciting. That's why it's so specific to you. And that's exciting and fun. And also, while Aries can be youthful, even Leo's youthful, again, Aries impulsive, or just, again, and sometimes it's impulsive, but sometimes an Aries can be so in touch with their senses that like they're like good. They just like need to be at home now, like so forth and so on. Anyway, I'm just going on and on here. Aries and Leos out there, if you have not felt like you were a quote unquote Aries or Leo, I feel you. I understand you. I think you've been misrepresented. I think that I think that most Aries suns I know are, I can't think of any of them that fit the stereotypical Aries qualities. And I think it's because I think what they do all have in common is that they look at life from there's an innocence that Aries suns can have. There can be a naivety. There can be like this sense of, who am I? Like the question for Aries is about identity, right? And a lot of times Aries suns have a young identity. And so they spend a lot of their life looking for it. And this means that they go through lots of phases, I think, Aries suns, of having to essentially grow into who they're going to be. So that's why I think Aries suns can look really different from person to person, because that journey looks really, really different, and it's about being in touch with your own senses. And I think that's really fun. So again, if you're an Aries or Leo, leave a comment. Let me know if this pings or how you would nuance it. And I hope that you feel more seen. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.